G'day everybody. Odd job sort of day today. So we are out with one of the mobs of sheep at the moment. Dad's bringing out a bag of barley to put into the feeder bin. Give them some food. As you can probably see, we're over near the dam. She's pretty barren at the moment. Because we had a dry start to the year, there isn't much grass around. We had a bit of rain over the last couple of weeks and starting to get a bit of green grass popping up. But yeah, the sheep are just eating it straight away, obviously. We went to get a heap of rain this weekend. Went to rain today, see how much we get. But yeah, so I've got to keep topping up with grain and hay. So Dad's going to bring that out and do that. We'll see what else happens. I think Dad wants to brand all the wool from shearing, which is still sitting in the shed. Nothing's been done with it yet. Yeah, so we'll see what happens throughout the day. Right, so as you just saw, we just filled it up, but because we're using that crappy barley still, it blocks up the bottom of these chutes. So, got to give it a little clean out with the tool and make sure that it flows. And as you can see, a couple of the old pet sheep don't give a crap if you come over in their way. They're too excited for food. Look out. Rightio then. So I finished dealing with the sheep. Brought the Massey Ferguson back. It's been sitting out in that paddock that we ploughed for a little while. Dad was going to do another job with the plough, but just hasn't done it. So we've brought it back in, had a look at the conditions of that paddock that we did plough, and it looks like it's pretty right at Scarify. It's not too wet. So we've got the scarifier hooked up. We're going to try and do a little bit. Dad's just going to get some fuel for the tractor, and hopefully it doesn't rain in between then. We might be able to get that paddock done if we're lucky. Yeah, so I just brought the scarifier over. As always, this thing needs work, but we just don't have the time or whatever, it just doesn't get done. So you'll remember, if you follow along on the channel, we put buster points on it last year, so they're a narrower point, and they worked pretty well in the dry conditions. I think it was pretty, yeah, it wasn't like super dry, but it was dry. And yeah, it seemed to work pretty well, getting down a little bit deeper than what the other wider points we generally use did. So we're going to leave these ones on it. They're still pretty good. We won't change them over. There's no need for that. They're not quite that worn yet. We didn't do enough acres with them to wear them down. So they'll be right to go again, and hopefully that'll help with yeah, busting through the raised beds, because there's still going to be a little bit of mounds out there for them to go through, but we should be able to level out this paddock pretty right with the scarifier, and then once we go through with the cultivator, it'll have it pretty smooth. So we'll give this a graze, check it out. I think I said last year the hubcap fell off this wheel. It's because the bearing cups have ran in the hub and it's worn it out, so it doesn't actually do it tight. We need to do something with it, but probably ain't going to be this year. So we might try and put something over the end of that hub to stop any more dirt going into the bearings. It's not critical because it doesn't go super fast on the ground, but it's not helping the bearings by getting dirt in there. Rightio, give them the scarifier grease. Tractor's been greased as well. I'm going to pull the air filter out of it and give that a blowout as well. I don't think we've done it in a while. Topped up the hydraulic oil, so we are pretty much right to go. Hubcap fix. Found a little bucket that fitted on just perfect. Hopefully Dad doesn't get too upset. One of his little, this would have been a bale, like a wool bale fastener bucket. That's on there pretty bloody good. It's a perfect snug fit, so that should be pretty right, I reckon. Probably, we do need to sort this hub out. It's not ideal. A lot of movement in it. As long as it doesn't fall apart, we'll be right though. It needs to be pulled right apart. A new hub is what ideally would need to put on. Finding one might be a bit difficult. It's possible that we could shim out the bearing cups to make the bearings sit in there tighter. But that's yeah, a job for when we've got absolutely nothing to do. And at the moment we're just flat out trying to, we're not even flat out, but we need to get a reel on or we're going to be behind schedule, I think anyway. So that should hopefully be right. When we first bought this Scarify, it came to us with like an old water bottle cut off and shoved on that hub as well. So obviously when we bought it, like, I don't know, 15-20 years ago, the bloke that had it before us obviously had the same problem and didn't fix it. So anyway, we'll pull this air filter out and give it a blowout. Right, yeah, everything's ready to go. Just wait for Dad to get back with some fuel, fill the tractor up and head on out there and start scratching some dirt. Didn't think we'd be doing any scarifying today, just because we thought it might have been a bit, well, I thought it might have been a bit wet. I don't know what Dad's thoughts were, but he didn't really have a look until we went out there and grabbed the 3505 out of the paddock. And when I was just sitting there letting it warm up, I was looking at the ground, thought probably doesn't look too bad to be out there, and I think Dad had the same idea. So yeah, I guess it's when she's ready to go, she's ready to go. So unexpected, but it'll be good to get that paddock scarified, and that's another thing out of the way. Get him, 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 get him. Too slow. Gone into the shed. Don't know if there's any more in here. This is the hole. We were riding that the other day when him and Tex got about 7 when I put that short up. So they keep coming back. Everywhere the rats and mice around at the moment, it's just unbelievable. Keep going under the workshop, been under Mum's stable, in around the old dairy. So, there, unfortunately, young Master Crackers didn't get that one. We'll see if any more come out. Yeah, filled up with fuel. For some unknown reason the fuel gauge isn't working. It might not have even been that empty. Yeah, Crackers didn't catch any rats, just that one that got away. With that scarifier out, we'll make a start on that paddock and see how much we can get done before we get any decent amount of rain. just onto this, doing it across on an angle across the raised beds. Done one half of the paddock, and I've also done behind the rock barriers. There's a bit of a funny shaped area that I just did by itself. So I've only got this second half over here to do. This is particularly big, so hopefully it won't take too long. But yeah, everything seems to be going alright. The buster points seem to be doing a pretty good job getting down relatively deep. Yeah, the ground's still pretty hard. There's a bit of moisture in it, but it's still quite hard because the plough didn't get down very deep because of how hard it was when I ploughed it. So yeah, we're going along pretty good, and hopefully things stay that way. So I'll come back to you in a little while. Just finished. Not a moment too soon either. We've just sort of beat the rain by a bee's dick. Yeah, it's just started raining then, about 5 minutes ago. So yeah, the wheels are starting to get a little bit tacky with all the water on the ground. So luckily we managed to finish the paddock. So hopefully this is a good omen. Getting stuff done before the rain, unlike last year. But yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see how the rest of the year pans out, I guess. So we'll be able to park this up and unhook it from the tractor, and take the tractor back up to the shed. And hopefully we don't get, well, we're going to think we're meant to get quite a bit of rain. I'm not sure how much we're going to get. I did hear across the state it was going to be like 10 to 30 mil, but that's what they're talking, but who knows whether that's going to be the case. So we'll just have to see what happens, I think. So anyway, we'll get this unhooked. Bloody piston down now. Finished just in time, really. Absolutely hosing. The wheels are starting to collect a bit of mud now, so lucky we finished. I've got to get out there and unhook this bloody thing too. Bloody wet out there. Rightio, she's unhooked. I'm taking this up to the shed and getting out of the rain. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Any questions about what we're doing or about scarifying or anything like that, always happy to answer them, so leave them down in the comments. And I'll catch us in the next one. See you out.